heavily damaged.
Hey, what is going on, guys? My name is Pabloon, aka Pabloon, and today, as you can see, we are featuring the Castilla, a ship that, when it came out, nobody really cared, and people just kind of forgot about it, me included. But today, I thought I would challenge myself and figure out a way how to play this ship. I've been thinking about HE a lot because the ship's AP is just not very good, but the HE has a high fire chance, and when you have a burst fire, you can get a lot of shells out in a short succession. So I set out with this idea that I'm going to try a different playstyle, and I'm going to see what we can do. So the playstyle is hang back, use HE and AP according to the target you are shooting at. And actually, we got some really, really nice clips. You saw that intro clip with the Jinan. That was very satisfying indeed. So yeah, let's jump into the build here. So for my elite bonus, I went with the improved main armor belt. I think this is going to help you overall because this ship is not very tanky. So that is our elite bonus. I went with the Sand Dragon camouflage here because this one gives you range, which is nice, and max traverse speed, which is also great. But this one gives you dispersion, which is really what I want. It also gives you AA range in both departments, which you definitely need because, yeah, smaller caliber AA is even lower than this without it. But it's mostly for the dispersion. Next up here, we took reload, actually. I started out with dispersion, but I found out that the reload is just so long, and when your shells don't do enough damage to constitute that type of reload, I took reload module instead of dispersion, just like I did with Petro back in the day. We went with propulsion and concealment, very standard stuff. And the build here, Alvaro Cortez. Very standard from my last time. I think there are maybe some deviations. I went with HP just overall because I want protection for the ship. It's not going to do much, but this thing is not tanky. So yeah, let's hop right into this game. So here we are, and this is the game. I hope you guys enjoyed that little intro clip because it's not very often that it's happened to me where, you know, I've been shooting at a broadside light cruiser with a burst and I actually end up getting a Citadel crisis. It can happen, certainly, and you need to be very precise and lucky to get those types of salvos. But when they happen, it's gosh darn satisfying. So here we are, we're playing on Hourglass. This is actually not a bad map for what I'm trying to do here. And my idea with this start of the game, at least, is to go to the right here and use the island and kind of use it, you know, to cover. I just had to pause a YouTube video. If any of you guys know what Gameloft is, they used to make the most epic, you know, mobile games back in the day, and nowadays they're not very interesting. So yeah, check that video out, guys. I'll link it in the description if you're interested. Anyways, yeah, I watch YouTube when I play games. That is the advantage, I guess, of having two monitors when you're gaming. But yeah, let's move on. We're going on to this area here, but the reason I'm going over there is because you do have these 3 scouting planes, and I think to make this ship work, you have to use the scouting planes efficiently. That means just basically staying back and not being the first target, you know, pushing up in the beginning. So that's what's happening right now. I'm just kind of waiting for a good target, and we spot this Stalingrad pushing. So I'm thinking to myself, you know what, that's probably a good target for my guns. And this is actually a pretty good example of where this ship might be pretty good. That's a decent salvo, 5k to start here. I'm not going to complain about that, and with the scouting plane, it's even easier to land these shells on the deck. So I think what a lot of people were expecting with this ship is that it would just be an absolute powerhouse at any distance, and it would be able to tank stuff because it's a Napoli hull. But that's really, really not the case. This thing is not a good tanker. So that's why we're just sitting here. Now, I talked about in the intro wanting to use HE more, and the reason is, again, 10% fire chance. So we swapped to HE here to lob a salvo at this Chungmu, and we actually do get a decent salvo. But again, if that was a Goliath hit and all shields hit, we would have done a lot more damage than this thing. Mecklenburg full broadside. This is where our HE is supposed to be, you know, used. It's these battleships that you don't really know if you're going to full pen or half pen or just bounce, so I'd rather use HE and potentially get some fires. He does damage control that one, so my plan now is to just, you know, use my burst fire to set in a light. He is actually going down quite fast, so I'm not thinking about getting fires here. I'm just thinking about getting 2 salvos out, since there's nothing else for me to shoot at. So we can wait these 27 seconds. And that's a triple fire. So even though he died very fast, this is what I want to show. This is where you will get something out of Castilla. If you only go for those AP salvos, you're gonna be finding yourself getting disappointed quite a bit. So now's a good time for us to push. We don't have a lot of damage yet, we only have 28,000, but there's no real threats to us out here, and the 2 destroyers are on the other side of the map. So I'm just gonna push up here with my battleship. We get 2 more fires on this Stalingrad, which it did, you know, damage control. So I'm gonna try to use the scouting plane here and just lob some shells over. Unfortunately, we won't really hit him. I think I actually aimed too high, but, you know, I'm afraid of hitting the island, so I just opted to shoot a little bit further out. We're still trying to blind fire this Stalingrad, but that is no use, to be honest. So we're going to push up further. And there he is, the Jinan. This guy, he's not going to have fun. First, he's going to get slapped by me and the Shimado here, and he's going to be thinking, I'm gonna leave. Well, actually, he didn't get really slapped, but he's finding out that, yes, we do damage. So now he's going broadside behind this island here. This is the first time I tried to use the burst, but I actually, you know, strained away from it. You need to be really fast at reacting to the enemy's movements. So the reason I didn't use my burst at that second is because he was turning out. I'm only going to use the burst at these distances if I know they're just sailing in a straight line full broadside to me. Because waiting 27 seconds for this is not worth it. If you don't get something out of your burst salvo, you're just hurting your own damage potential. So we're still getting some stray hits here on the Jinan, but he's actually going behind the island now, and the St. Vincent is peeling off. He looks like he's about to turn this way, so this is where we would want to run away. We still have 1 scouting plane, and we're better in a kiting position than we are barreling down, especially when we're outnumbered. Remember, there's still this Stalingrad and the Jinan. So we're going to relocate. I'm going to ask my team to defend the base, because I noticed that there's a DD trying to rush it, and like at this point, I was thinking this might be a good Castilla game. And then I get this salvo right here. Not really much thought, I just chucked it out. Couldn't see him really, but it landed perfectly, and we get 3 citadels. And yeah, he took a lot of damage there. I believe that was a 10k salvo or something. Pretty big salvo, and it definitely hurt that Jinan. So now he's staying behind this island. Or is he? He's actually not. I guess that's a play. I can't remember if we actually kill him here, but we activate the burst again. This is what I'm saying, guys. Full broadside targets that you know you can hit. And he goes down. 4 citadels on that guy. I was like, okay, this is the type of salvo I was hoping for when I was playtesting this ship. And out of a lot of battles I've played in this thing, this is the only really good game I've had. So it says a lot. The ship still needs quite a lot of help. But this video is intended for those of you who want to play this ship no matter what. And I'm one of those. So this is really trying to figure out the ins and outs. Now we're going to be fighting this last St. Vincent here. So this is where I was really testing HE or AP. St. Vincent isn't that tanky, but it's still a battleship. And you want to get the most out of your salvos instead of potentially staying in a prolonged fight with the battleship that will end up with you losing a lot of your HP. Then you can see an AP salvo into his deck, full broadside, did a lot of damage, so the only reason I'm swapping back to my HE here is actually because he damage controlled. So I'm hoping to get some more fires on him and then swap to my AP. So we get 1 single fire that actually ends up being a double fire, which again, it just kind of shows you 10% fire chance is good. And now we don't need to swap to AP HE anymore. We can just go to the AP, and now I'm just gonna rush this guy. There's no reason for me to stay behind this island. We are healthy enough, and I'm confident that we can take out this St. Vincent here. But you can just see, compared to Napoli, you lose a lot of HP. You don't want to be taking these prolonged fights too much. The only reason we were able to do this is because he's, well, low, and he's the last ship. So 1 burst salvo away, and there we go. St. Vincent goes down, and I get 109k damage. Not very impressive, not a lot of damage. But that is what I got for you guys. This is how I ended up actually making Castilla work. So if you have any of the other tiers, maybe try to put some of this into practice. Stay at range, use HE when it's appropriate, and use AP when it's appropriate. And only use the burst when you know you're going to hit the target, and they're broadside enough to make it actually worth it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know if you want more Castilla stuff. I will definitely be playing it more and helping you guys out there to make it worth your while. My name is Bobloon, aka Pabloon, and I'm signing out.